Good morning, the time is 9 AM and it's the 4th of October 2023, and I'm going to go through my trading plan for today. Just a quick look to see what's coming up for news today, and we've got PMI at 10 AM, so be wary in any trades. We've got quite a lot of news today. 9:45, 2 out of 3, there's that PMI. We've got a few. We've got 10 o'clock, 5 past 10, and Fed speech, and a few at 10:30 as well. So yeah, keep an eye on today. Today could be a volatile day, and these are all 2 out of 3 as well on the scale. So only one of high importance, but all the others are semi-important. Okay, so on my screen is the MES 1 hour time frame, and this is the MES micro E-minis S&P index futures. Excuse me. Yesterday we had a bit of a down day, and one thing that stands out is this big volume candle, and in isolation it doesn't look too bad, just a little bit higher volume than the previous day. If we zoom out, we'll soon see that this is an ultra high volume candle, and going back some time before we see another one of similar height. So this is August, Friday 25th of August, and we had a similar volume come in on the down candle, and we saw a reversal. So interesting to compare. Let's go back a bit further for another one which is ultra high. There's that one. We're going back quite a lot now. We go all the way back to March 2023, March this year, and funnily it's another reversal candle. So, and another couple of big red and a green candle. And if we look at March 2023, that was pretty much the low of the year before we saw this big push up. So let's go back to current time and just see what we could be looking for. So remember, the last time we saw a candle with this amount of volume was in March, and that was a reversal candle, and the time before in August was a reversal candle, or a reversal was due and coming. So we could bear that in mind. We're not wanting to go into this with a bear bias, but potentially we could be seeing ending volume on this downtrend. Just something to think about. Levels for today, still going to be biased in the downside because we're in a downtrend, and I've put some fibs in as well. So looking on here, I put the fibs in from the top of that pivot down to the low pivot there, and an area I was watching kind of lines up with the fibs as well. And in fact, I've got two lots of fibs. I've got fibs coming off this pivot as well down to this low, and we can see we have this area where both the 618, you can't quite see it there, and there's a 50% fibs as well aligned together. So, and that's an area I put in for potential reversal as well. And where's that come from? That was the bottom of these candles. So funny how everything just aligns up, and that's been there for a few days at this level. And so that's an area I'm going to be watching for reversal. So we're pretty much lined up with the area from, when was that? That was Wednesday the 27th of September. And we've got the downward trailing 50 moving average as well coming into that area. And we're in this supply zone as well, which is the red shaded area. So all these things hopefully would line up for a potential rejection, and I'll be waiting for a rejection, and hopefully this is not the rejection, but it's similar to what I'm looking for. I'll be looking for a candle with a top and tail on either on high volume. So if we see high volume coming in down here and we see the reversal, or even a narrow range bar with high volume, that's an anomaly. So areas I'll be watching for will be around this area, so 42.86 to 42.90. So that's a potential area to watch for rejection. If we see more buying and we break up through this area, then potentially I'm watching 43.17 to 43.12, so this area here, and that also coincides with this point of control and this volume, congested volume in this area. So we've got a lot of volume in this area as well, so potentially a natural area of resistance. And then we've got this supply zone up here as well at 43.25 to 43.30. And again, they're quite big zones to watch, so I'll be looking for a reversal candle or a double top. And don't forget, we've got a downward trailing 200 moving average as well, and that could also act as potential an area for a reversal. And for bounces, I'm not sure I quite like the break and retest long because there's quite a lot of resistance overhead. But if we can come back down to this area, potentially we could be putting in a head and shoulders pattern, and maybe that's something to watch out for here. And then the neckline will be the safest play. The break of the neckline or the break and retest of the neckline would be even safer, and potentially on this shoulder down here you could look for reversal. Basically look for something like that, 2 bottom tail candles or 1 bottom tail, a reversal candle around here. So that's an area to watch out for, and that is 42.53.75, 42.54 basically for potential bounce. Or we're watching this neckline area if it is a head and shoulders pattern, and that would be 42.77. I think that's it really, and obviously we've got the double bottom. If we come into this area here, we could be watching 42.36 for a bounce as well. I think that's it. There's not much more to add to that one. Looking at SPY, it's going to be very similar. I've got fibs in, yeah, I've got the fibs in there as well, so I've got the fibs on there. So we're looking at the top of this, it's now a supply zone, and if I move that up, yeah, so potential rejection in this area here, 424.50 area to 425.30 as a potential rejection, and this is between the 50% and the 618 on the fibs. So it's basically, I call it the golden zone. That's the area to watch for, and it's also the bottom of this area here, bottom of this area here, bottom of this area here as well, and we're just coming into natural higher volume as well, so this could act as natural resistance. I think that's it really. It's similar to the MES and the ES. If we can come back down here, we've already put in a double bottom, so potentially, yeah, so we've got to put in a double bottom, so potentially we might be seeing a bit of a reversal, and if so, we'll be looking for a reversal pattern at that point as well. Coming into the 50 trailing 50 moving average, and we've got the 200 moving average as well. Next area to watch for a reversal is 428 if we can get up that area. Higher volume as well, we've got congested volume based on this point of control, and we've got 430 area as well for potential rejection. Looking at Qs, unlike ES and SPY, it's not quite put in a new weekly low. It came close and hasn't putting in a higher low potentially. So an area to watch. Let's do the fibs on here as well. Similar area as SPY, so just the base of these candles. Concentrated volume as well acts as natural resistance. The 50 moving average and into a supply zone, that should be red. So you're watching 359 through to 358 for potential rejection, this area here. And then a bounce, if we do come back down here, maybe we might see a bit of a bounce back up. But this area seems quite significant. It was this potential shoulder area for this inverse neck and head and shoulders and we came back to the same area here as well a few times, so potentially we could come back. And I think that's it really for Qs. And volume wise, higher volume than we've had for a while, for a few days, but not the highest volume we've seen, unlike the ES where we saw lots of volume. Yeah, so that's what I'll be watching for on Qs. So it's looking a little bit stronger than ES, purely because it didn't put in a similar bottom. Nasdaq is going to be, oh look at that, so Nasdaq did actually put in a double bottom and bounce. That's a perfect bounce, perfect double bottom if you're watching that. I don't think it even went, did it get lower? Didn't quite get to the low, but it's pretty much there. So that's an area to watch for if it comes back down to this area for potential bounce, or we could be just putting in a bit of a pullback for a break back down, but we'll see. And that goes with the other stocks we just looked at as well. For rejection area, it's interesting to see again the 618 and the 50% coincides with this area, which is an area of potential resistance, bottoms of these candles. So that's at 14,800 to 14,820 roughly as a potential rejection, and we've got the 200 and the 50 moving average all in a similar area as well, so potentially we could see a rejection around this area. And then last is oil. We talked about this for the last few days. It came into these levels, so it first touched that level we've been watching, then it touched this level we've been watching as well, and now it's coming into that area there. So as I said in the last few videos, I'm waiting for it to get back down to this area, and I may consider getting into a long swing trade, but right now it's putting in a daily GBI, so it's broken that, so potentially there's a short and it's got room to move back down, so that's got potential back down to 84 or 82 for 50, that area. We talked about the volume as well on this. I've said this for the last week now, that it's looking like ending volume because it's lots of higher volume if you compare that to previous volume, and it potentially coming up, and it's proven to be correct. We got up to there with a higher volume and now it's coming back down. So yeah, so I think the best place for me personally is 82.34 is what I'm waiting for. Potentially if it comes into the 50 moving average, and hopefully see it do something like we saw before. And that's it really. I'm not really watching individual stocks. Let's go back onto the ES. One thing I didn't mention is that we've got this bottom pivot here, and a bit like the Nasdaq, we could be coming in for a break and retest of that area to push down. So this is an area to watch for, but I really would rather find a short around this area. Putting in a topping tail candle on the hourly as well, so that could potentially be a reversal candle on higher than average volume as well. Let's just get down a bit. Look at that. So that is, I don't know. Oh, there was news at 8:15, so I'll ignore that. If I remember, 8:15. Yeah. So we had. There's some news at ADP. Not important. So we had some news at 8:15. Maybe it's related to that. But if not, then that's a big candle, big volume candle, massive volume candle. If you compare that, and maybe that is signifying ending volume as well. But the candle is also quite a wide candle, so it's in proportion to each other. So I don't think that's an anomaly. But you don't really get those big candles in pre-market. No, that's the only reason it stood out. Even there, relatively high. Must be on days with news. You probably may see it. As I said, I watched this every day on pre-market, and I don't think I've seen big candles stand out like that often. But anyway, something to bear in mind. So we've got our levels in place. So just to recap the ES for the levels, just go over one more time before we go. I'm watching the golden zone, the 618 area, and that is going to be 42.86 for potential rejection. We've got the 50% and the 618 in the same place there, and I'll just zoom out a bit on the hourly. You can see that coming. Let's go back to the hourly because I prefer the hourly. So yeah, so that's easy to see. So we've got 42.86, 42.87 there for a potential rejection area. We've got a bigger rejection area at 43.10 to 43.12, and then again at 43.30 to 43.35, and there's the 200 moving average up there as well. And potentially looking for a bounce around 42.40, higher risk bounce at 42.53, 42.54, and if we do see a sell-off, then a break and retest. So just wait for confirmation, and I don't want to do a breakout because it may be a fake breakout and just reverse back up. So a break and retest is what I'll be waiting for. Okay, thank you for watching. Hopefully this is helpful. Don't forget to hit the like button, and I will see some of you in the live room later. Okay.